Master P is one of the biggest names in black entrepreneurship. A lot of people look to him as the reference point when we talk about people that were able to be self-made. He started No Limit Records with $10,000. It's not a lot of money. I mean, if you make 15 an hour at 600 a week, 6 by 4 in a month is 2,400. Obviously, you got to account for taxes, but by the end of that year, you up 24 plus. So yes, it's possible to get seed money without relying on a loan, depending on what it is you're trying to establish. I'm not saying that it's easy. Nothing for us is ever going to be easy because we have to understand we've been placed intentionally at the bottom of the caste system. So I'm not trying to say that they didn't do anything to us because I don't want to get called a coon for stupid reasons. I'm not saying they didn't do anything to us. I'm saying it's done. You can't cry over spilled milk. Now, what are you going to do to get out of that situation? Because I, for one, don't want me and my people to be stuck. When I say my people, I more so mean my own lineage, but of course the community as well, to be stuck at the bottom of the caste system for generations and having to deal with all the goddamn madness that exists in the ghettos. Accountability. The Middle Easterners, they come over here, any tribe, really, any tribe that's not us and the European man, because a lot of them were broke as fuck when they migrated here from Italy and Ireland and Germany and all the places they migrated from. The Asian community, they come over here, granted they have a much stronger culture than we do. Some would argue we don't have a culture at all because we've been disenfranchised. I'm not getting into that. They come over here, the Asians, I mean, whether they be the Eastern Asian or the quote-unquote Chinese man or the Middle Eastern Asian, the quote-unquote Indian or the Muslim man, they come over here, they build within their own, they take their own community. I'm from Michigan, there's a community called Dearborn, if you're unfamiliar with it. They have their own everything. Literally, the stores are put in Arabic, so if you can't speak the language, you don't even know what the fuck you're walking into. They didn't come here and say, white man, please help me. They didn't come over here and say, my people are getting attacked over in the Middle East, and we have to do this, and we have to do that, and we deserve X, Y, Z. They came over here, and they manifested for self. And that separatist mindset to build within your own and not trying to integrate with everyone else and be dependent on everyone else is the mentality that we should have if we plan to raise ourselves from the bottom of the caste system. Nobody respects a beggar. People don't respect brown nosing. They respect people that go out there and get it. That's just the way that America and the survival of the fittest, dog eat dog mentality is. So if you're adamant about changing this society, you're adamant about changing the way things work for you and yours, the only way to do it is through accountability. I'm sorry. I agree 100% with Kanye West's statement that slavery is a choice. Mental slavery is a choice. Because the man wasn't talking about bondage. He's talking about the things that we do to choose to stay at the bottom of the caste system, the easy ways we take out. Everyone says drugs and guns were put in the community and they trapped us. Yes, they did do that. But even a mouse, after a while, sees the trap, he's able to get the cheese from that trap without getting its fucking neck crushed. So if you know that there's guns and drugs put in your community on purpose and the crack epidemic fucked everything up when we were on the right track, why would you then go into that trap for fast money? You telling me you're not smarter than a rat? You know, and I'm not trying to belittle anybody. I'm just making an analogy to get you to see a bigger point. All these excuses that we make to justify the actions we take, it's not going to lead to anything but more imprisonment and more deaths. And me, I for one, coming from the city that I come from, has seen enough of that. The amount of PTSD that I had to deal with, and this is not me trying to play the victim card, the amount of PTSD I had to deal with growing up in a place where you wake up to gunshots, that's your alarm clock, and then you get desensitized to it. It was a meme floating around that said, in Detroit, when you hear gunshots, you just go, damn, that nigga blowing that bitch. That means it happens so often. Not only does it not disturb you, but you don't even run away. You know, dog is after whoever he after, and you chilling, you gonna keep smoking your blunt on the porch with your homies. That shouldn't be the status quo. That shouldn't be the norm for anybody growing up in any community. And the only way that's going to change is we take accountability. No politician is going to help us. It doesn't matter if you're Democrat or Republican, Trump, Obama, Bush. It doesn't matter who it is. They have a job to do. They are the ambassador. They're the representative of a bigger corporation with faces that we never see. Nobody's going to help. You got to help yourself. I got to help myself. You got to help your family. That's the only point that he was trying to make when he said mental slavery was a choice. Now, if you hop into an energy of the Harriet Tubman statement, what did he say specifically so I'm not misquoting? Anybody remember?
Harriet Tubman really didn't free the slaves.
Harriet Tubman didn't free the slaves, she just sent them to work for better white people. Isn't that what happened? I mean, when you think about it, right now everybody is a debt slave. What is it, the 13th or the 14th Amendment that says everybody is basically still...
13th.
If you go, the 13th Amendment says everybody who basically is imprisoned now becomes a quote-unquote debt slave. Mm-hmm. You're now a part of the system forever and ever and ever and ever. But even if you're not in prison, you're a debt slave. Stop going to work right now. Stop rotating that dollar right now. What's going to happen? You're going to lose your house. You're going to lose everything because you no longer are building up the corporations of America. As long as you keep their cog gears flowing, you're working at Target, Meijer, wherever you're working, and you're keeping the plants, you're keeping everything running, you make money. But as soon as you try to build your own infrastructure, you're absolutely destroyed. Everyone who's ever tried to do that is dead. All of them. There was a guy, Tamil Ray, I think his name was Michael York. He tried to build a black Mecca in Georgia. And they gave that man 130 plus years for pedophilia. And if I'm not mistaken, Jared from Subway also was arrested for pedophilia. Want to know how long he got? 15 months. Interesting. What is my point? All he was saying is people got transitioned into from bondage into working for the same elitists who had that power back then, who had that money back then, who were able to translate that oil money or that whatever money they were making, plantation money, into running the corporations we see today. So did Harriet Tubman free the slaves from bondage? Yes, but did she free them from did any abolitionist free them from being a slave to the financial system? No. And that goes deeper than even race, because everybody in this place basically is underneath I think the mark for when you're in a different tax bracket is $350,000 a year. How many people make that? I think it's maybe 5% of the whole nation out of 330 million people. So again, when we take all of this energy and we take it out of context, I understand why everybody has this backlash. I get it. And if you have the more so victimhood mentality, I heard Max and Stephen A. on ESPN have a long debate about accountability versus victimhood. If you have a victimhood-like mentality, I'm not saying you're wrong to have that mentality. I'm saying to have that mentality, to me, is counterproductive because it's not going to lead to change. Now, if you have the accountability mentality where you say, I'm going to whatever by my bootstraps and figure it out on my own through the power of the Most High, through the power in me, through the gift that I have to manifest my talents and turn that into monetary gain, you change the game. You change the game for you. You change the game for your family. You change the game even for your community, for people who see how you move and they like how you move and they want to do the same thing. So I don't think Kanye said anything that's controversial. Now, all that Trump support and the MAGA hat shit, look, every president to me, every politician to me, it's smoke and mirrors. I'm not into politics. I'm not liberal. I'm not conservative. I'm not Democrat. I'm not Republican. That's a shit show. You know, that's for the masses of people to believe that. I don't pay any attention to that. So if you feel like he's a coon for supporting somebody who's been openly against a certain amount of factions, you can keep that opinion. I'm only talking about the comments that he made on slavery and the comments he made about Harriet Tubman. And I hope that the breakdown that I gave makes sense when you contextualize it, because I've been seeing the comments of this Harriet Tubman situation, and it's a lot of people who was like, you know, I actually understand what he was saying. He didn't say it properly, and again, he's suffering from some sort of, I don't even know what, that keeps him from being able to express a point properly. But when you take it and you understand the context that he was saying, he was basically saying the only way to change your situation as an Afrocentric member in this community, at the bottom of the caste system, is to take accountability for where you are and choose to jump over the obstacles instead of letting them wait and bog you down. I agree. Peace and love to the gods and the goddesses. I go by the name Black.Poet. This is live from the motherland.